All right, welcome to another episode of The American Dream. I want to remind you, I've spent the last few years traveling the country, meeting the best in the business. And today, we're bringing you a special segment directly out of Phoenix, where we have award-winning realtors and a mortgage professional in Tracy Fitzgerald on the real estate side with Tim McBride. Hello, you two. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having us.
And then Kelly Zitlow is an award-winning mortgage professional. So she's representing that side of the profession. Thank you for being here as well, Kelly.
Thanks for having me, Craig.
So needless to say, crazy times. This is, it's fascinating how we've evolved with this show. I've always said it's not a reality show, it's a real show. And we've flown to your cities. We've found the best realtors in 52 cities across the country, as well as mortgage. And now, given the crisis, the global crisis that everyone is going through, this makes more sense right now. It's giving people information they need right now. It's a crazy, crazy world. You have short-term rates at 0%. You have a $2 trillion stimulus. I got a note from our governor here in California saying, don't pay your mortgage. So confusing times. So let's go around the horn. Tracy, we'll start with you. How are you seeing this impact your marketplace, specifically stories from buyers, sellers? What's happening in the industry there with you?
Surprisingly, we're still doing pretty well. We're all trying to remain very optimistic, having conversations with our clients, letting them know, obviously, there's a different way of doing business today, as we all are doing things virtually. But I have to tell you, we are having phone calls from buyers all over the country on a daily basis come in still. People are looking online, going to our websites, excited to buy a home here in Phoenix, Arizona. And so that is very promising. And people are we're getting calls from people in California, where you guys live, back east. They're still just, sick of the weather. So they're like, when we get out of this big mess and this crisis, they want to come to Phoenix. Our market is still very affordable. We're still pretty active. All of my fellow realtors that I've been having conversations with are still doing business.
You just gave a great point that there's probably a lot of sellers that need to sell, and this might have just expedited that process or even made them more aggressive to fire sale, so to speak, because they know they need to move in the next year. Why not speed that process up given what's going on? Tim, same market, but I'm sure you have a different story, at least from your perspective. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so very similar. I think what we're telling a lot of our buyers, and I'm telling a lot of my buyers, that it's been such a strong seller market for the last 2-3 years. A lot of that has to do with low inventory, but with the pinch everyone's feeling, sellers are coming off the fence a bit right now and being flexible with their pricing, which is great. So that my buyers who are still active and want to pursue a home, they can get a home at a dollar point that makes more sense for them. So that's what's really exciting, I think, for the buyer market. We're trying to be as sensitive as possible to the circumstances everyone is in. I've made sure to reach out to every client one-on-one and just understand where they're at from a human being standpoint. We're all experiencing this. We're all feeling the pressures, whether it's from a health standpoint or an economic standpoint. But for those that are still committed to go through the buying process, now is a great time. We talked about the mortgages being so low, but also that these homes aren't staying at the price points, or we'll probably see them start to come down pretty quickly, that they've been at here for the last few weeks.
I think everybody is ready for this to pass and wants business to be back to normal. And I think we should behave that way as much as possible while being responsible and socially distant. Those two worlds can coexist. Kelly, all right, dying to talk to you. You're on the mortgage side of things. A lot of questions there. What's up with interest rates? What's up with my governor telling me I don't have to make my mortgage payment? Are you seeing the same thing in Phoenix? What does all this mean?
Well, where do I start? Lots going on in this seat for sure. I think initially it is important to understand that when the Federal Reserve drops the Fed funds rate to this near zero point, that does not directly impact long-term mortgage rates. So there's a lot of confusion out there in the way that that's in the media, et cetera. So what the Fed is doing is really providing stimulus into this economy, and they're doing it in a variety of ways. So I think it's important to know that. I'm still getting calls from people saying, hey, I heard I can get a 0% interest rate on my 30-year fixed rate loan, and that's not the case. So are interest rates good? Yes, they are very good. As you mentioned, Craig, the Fed is pumping a lot of money into the financial markets, trying to create some stability. And they did this in a very fast way. So it was one of these things where, you know, the virus hits, it starts to hit in certain parts of the country. And the Fed was on this early on. And so that is in part what is creating and continuing lending in this country. And that's a good thing.
This is why it's so important to have someone that you can trust as an advisor in this type of environment. And this is something we've worked so hard on as a show to find professionals like you guys and coming out of the Phoenix market here in this particular interview. So appreciate you guys coming here and sharing some insight. Before I let you guys go, I want to get some advice for buyers and then advice for sellers, starting with you, Tracy. What would be your advice to buyers right now?
Well, for buyers that are truly looking to, you know, get in the Phoenix market, even including investors, I would say now is the time. Sellers are coming down on their pricing. They're getting more, you know, you have some sellers that really need to pull the money out right now. I mean, everybody has a different situation, but I think it's an excellent time for buyers to purchase a home in the Phoenix market and get a really good price. Because I personally feel once we get out of this horrible crisis that we're in, come summertime, we're going to be busier than ever and those prices are going to rise back up. So I feel like there's a great opportunity right now for buyers out there to purchase a home and even for investors to get into our market. As far as sellers goes, you know, we are doing everything we can to sell these homes virtually. And thanks to the American Dream TV show and to you, Craig, for what you have created here for us to be able to use your platform to show our listings on a national basis. You know, doing these virtual listings is huge. There's no other agents out there that can actually, you know, put their listings on a virtual basis and put it out to the masses like you can. So I am so honored and thrilled to be affiliated with this show. And I think this is a huge thing that we can offer to our sellers. Just one of the options, right?
We're just a platform. You guys are the professionals that are out there building the relationships and still making it happen. Look, people still need to buy and sell real estate. And even if it's not now, they need to learn what the heck is happening now. So when they're ready to make that decision, they can be connected with someone who can help them. So we're happy to do it. And we're so excited that the life goes on. Nobody likes this coronavirus thing. We can be sensitive to what's happening to people and the economy while still creating positivity and solutions in the process. So thank you for that. Tim, buyers and sellers, give us advice for each.
Same things. I'm telling all my buyers to be responsible for their circumstances. You know, if they are feeling the pressure of this health pandemic we're in, then we have so many digital tools that we can utilize to help them see these homes. So I'm not telling anyone to stop if they're committed to purchasing. I'm helping them understand that they can get a home at a price that's going to make sense for them without them really having to do anything but receive text messages, phone calls, and videos. As Tracy mentioned, having the platform like this to create really valuable content allows us to do some really creative things with them. Also, I'm having a lot of great conversations with listing agents that are being proactive, and they're actually doing virtual tours of their properties so that we can collaborate and get a really clear vision of what this home looks like so my clients can be excited on whether it's something they move forward on or pass on. On the seller side, you know, I will be honest, we've had a couple people just last week pull back because they're fearful of people coming into their home. So we're telling them, the client I talked to, I told them to give it a couple weeks, get comfortable with where they're at. Just from a health standpoint, economically, they're perfectly fine. They don't need to sell, but they're fearful of people coming in, contaminating their home. So again, we have the digital tools to market it, but it's that interaction that they're fearful of, which I have to show compassion for. At the end of the day, we want to, you know, have empathy for our community and for our neighbors, and just continue to let them know we do have the resources to sell it, but they need to be committed to the process as well.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to finish with you on that one. Your information is so interesting because it's on the finance side of things, and you're one of the most successful mortgage professionals on the planet. I'm curious, what are you seeing as the psychology? You're working more with buyers, right? Because they're getting qualified to buy a house. What are you seeing? What are some real stories of the behaviors? Are people pulling back? Are they getting fearful? Are you seeing people get more aggressive because of where rates are, or is it just a mixed bag of goodies?
It's a great question. And I would tell you, I see two different types of mindsets right now. So one, some people are paralyzed. They just can't get through the thought right now of putting anything additional on their plate. And then the other mentality, which is so interesting, and this is the segment that I tend to talk to a lot because they're reaching out, they want to get pre-qualified, they want to buy a house, is they see opportunity. They see that depending on the price point, anything under 500,000 in this market over the last, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but 6 months, it has been a highly, highly competitive real estate market. And so a lot of those buyers were facing multiple offer situations. So if they were serious, as Tim had mentioned, and they really want to buy, they're seeing this opportunity now is that there's potentially less buyers. And so they can go find their home of their dreams. And so, it's kind of a mixed bag depending on who you talk to and where the mindset is. I wouldn't say it's all one way or the other.
Thank you, Kelly. You know what else I think it's doing is I think it's bringing back a bit of humanity. How much different a perspective do you have on life, knowing that everything can just change like that? I mean, there's people dying from this thing. And so it's I think getting us all to stop for a moment, be appreciative of the things that we have, our family. It's creating more innovation. And yeah, it is challenging and fear is a real thing, but you can also be excited and passionate about opportunities. And I think those exist in this market. I think there's silver linings everywhere. And look, homes were the hardest. We love the home. And that's really the most important thing. If you're looking to buy or sell, if you need advice, you just 3 of the best out of the Phoenix marketplace. Thank you so much to our panel. Thanks for coming on the show. Great information. And I hope everyone will reach out to you if they need any more advice. More of the American Dream coming up next.